Hi, this is Jason Shadrick with PremierGuitar.com, and we are here in Des Moines, Iowa to check out the gear of jam band Umphrey's McGee. So first up, we're going to talk to Jake here, Jake Cinninger from Umphrey. So Jake, tell us a little bit about the guitar you're using on tour here.
This baby goes back to about 1990. I got this. This is my first real guitar. So it's an actual old G&L Legacy. It's actually one of the 3 bolts. So it's one of the old production G&Ls. So I believe the story was the original lathes that made the early 50s Strats and 60s Strats made this guitar, and it's very, very close to like a late 50s as far as size. I just had the neck redone, retopped, and planed out, so it's not warbly or anything like that. Tim Schroeder in Chicago did an amazing job. So it's been in hibernation for about 10 years, and now I'm playing it as my #1 at the moment. So it's kind of nice. There's the battle wounds on the back. Look at all those belt buckle wounds right there. Yeah, so here's some of my favorite effects. This is sort of a true bypass. This is a pedalboards.com true bypass rig. So basically I could set up any configuration of any of these pedals and assign them to one particular pedal or one particular number. So say my first one is the Bad Horsey and the compressor. The second one is the free fuzz. The third one is the tone bone. Fourth one is the fuzz bucket, which is just that huge David Gilmour robust. 5 is the Moger Foger delay. 6 is a combination of the super shifter, this hot hand, and the delay up there, so it's my scary effects kind of number right there. Go for number 7. Number 7 is, or that was 6. 7 is the Mindbender chorus, amazing pedal right there. And 8 is the classic phase shifter. And I run my guitar first into the black box, steel guitar black box made in St. Louis. Amazing like piece of sonic audio gear. It's almost like running your guitar through a mastering lab before you hit your effects. It knocks off all this like woolliness that single coil pickups can throw out and makes this smooth, tube drenched, without any color sort of aftermath. So then I run basically an A and a B box right here, and I run clean. My clean amp is a Fuchs ODS 100, and my B channel is a Marshall Vintage Modern 50 watt. One more last thing is the plush drive here is just basically a booster. So it's for any one of these effects if I need a little line boost. It's just set mildly. This is if I want to add more crunch to the Marshall, but right now I'm just running the Marshall wide open, so no need for the MXR. So that's just there if I want extra hair.
All right, Jake, so show me a little about what amps you're using on tour here.
So this is one of the first production runs of the 2266 Vintage Modern Marshall head. Great head. A lot of the old dogs even swear by these, like Robin Trower, Jeff Beck. Like all the guys are playing these newer models because they say they sound just like the old ones and more reliable or whatever. Speaker configuration of the old Electro Voice 12s that they used to put in the old Roland amps back in the day. So there's those huge drivers on these particular speakers. And then over here I got my Fuchs clean side. I just run this amp pretty much balls out clean, and then it's going into a Hard Truckers tuned cabinet with Eminence Patriots in there, so it kind of give me a nice soft mid-range. And these bark really nice for the Marshall hair, basically. So
is there any story behind the grill cover?
Yeah, the grill cover, that's my cat Ringo right there. That's my dog Keely, Border Collie, and there's Layla down there. And they're all rescue animals.
All right, Jake, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us about your rig.
You know, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
All right, so we're here with Ryan, the bass player for Umphrey's. And so Ryan, tell us a little bit about the bass you're using on tour here.
This is my main axe. It's a Lakeland bass made right there in Chicago, just down the street from where I live. Maple neck, I keep it basically at the factory settings. So I go in about once a month and just have them bring it back to how I first got it.
Cool, and show us a little about how all the effects you have here. It's great to see a bass player with a huge pedal board.
Yeah, I don't use them all. Mainly, I work with the Taurus 3 over here. I used to have the Moog Taurus 2 pedals, but they weren't surviving on the road, and nobody could fix them. So that's now in the studio. And when you want to destroy a PA or really test its boundaries, this is the monster to go low with. And then if we move over to my My pedal rig, I have my tuner, because I'm a musician, I have to stay in tune.
Of course.
And what I have here is only I run the distortion, the envelope filter, and the octave pedal off when I'm not going bypass. Otherwise, if I push this little white box here to the left, when I turn this on, this turns on my phaser and my low-pass filter Mogofoger. I use two expression pedals, one for the cutoff and one for the resonance, so I can really get a nice sweeping saw sound from low to high. And sometimes I'll either turn on the phaser or turn it off just to give it more effect. My main pedal is the bass octave. Every once in a while I'll throw in the distortion if we're getting dirty. But other than that, I usually run it pretty clean.
All right, Ryan, so take us through the amp. You seem to have a pretty simple amp setup for this tour.
I'm a simple man. Simple man has simple things. I like the classic Ampeg. I've got 115 and 4 10s, and I'm running the SVT Classic head going through a tube DI. I pretty much run it almost flat as well. Classic Ampeg, can't go wrong.
Hey Ryan, thanks a lot for taking us through your rig, man.
Thanks
a
for
lot.
having me.
So here with Brendan from Umphrey's McGee, and he's going to walk us through the rig he's using on this tour. So let's start with your guitar here, Brendan.
Okay, I'm using the PRS single cut. Her name is Felicia. I name all my guitars female names, except there's one, her name is Mine. It's still mine. So going from the guitar into the black box, which I think Jake explained to you earlier. From there, we're going to, I believe, the AB, and then the tuner. And from the tuner goes tuner to wah, to compression, to distortions, to the line boost, which I'm leaving on all the time, and the compressor on at all times. And then from there it just goes through the effects chain, which is a flanger, a chorus, an octave, the phase. This is a sweet pedal, the Cusack Tap-A-Whirl. It's a nice rotary effect, and you can tap tempo whatever you want, whenever you want. So I use that a lot. It sounds pretty sweet when you use it with the wah. 2 delays, an analog delay, Stigtronics, and a Boss digital delay. And then for the other amp, I just use this one Stigtronics overdrive for the Mesa Boogie.
And speaking of Mesa Boogie, why don't you show us some of the amps you're using?
Yeah. My clean amp is the Oldfield. It's a Club 80. It's a great amp maker out of North Carolina. Paul Gussler. He's a pimp. Does nothing but great things. And then my other amp is a Mesa Boogie Electrodyne. Just using the head with a Hard Truckers cabinet, and they're based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And that's pretty much it.
What does Yoda seem to watch over when it comes to your tone?
Yoda is the governor. Basically, I've had that since 1983, and he's been on my amp for every gig, except for like 6, because some fan stole it, and then somebody found out when he was bragging at a party, and they brought it back. So he's been around. He's been around since the first gig. So I figure if we got this far, I might as well keep him up there. I don't want any, Brady Bunch voodoo, like.
That's right.
So I don't want to mess with it. Got a good thing, keep it going.
All right, Brandon. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us about your rig.
Cheers.
This is Jason Shadrick with PremierGuitar.com.